Welcome back to Financially Free with Latoya and Tracy, the podcast where your journey to financial freedom starts here, together. I'm your host, Latoya, and today's episode is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about cost of living, building wealth, and designing a life that actually works for your financial goals. What if I told you that the key to stretching your dollar, enhancing your quality of life, and building a thriving business could be found halfway across the world? What if financial freedom wasn't just about how much you earn, but about where and how you choose to live? I'm thrilled to introduce an extraordinary guest who's not just talking about these concepts, she's living them. Meet Eshe Rashida, a fractional COO with extensive executive leadership experience who has discovered something remarkable. Ghana isn't just a beautiful West African nation, rich in culture and history. It's a strategic financial decision that's transformed her life and her business. Eshe splits her year between two worlds, spending several months in Ghana, where she's building Life with Rashida, a transformative experience for travelers who want to explore Ghana while focusing on their overall well-being. She's living proof that you can design a life that honors both your financial goals and your desire for meaningful experiences. I sat down with Eshe recently to have this incredible conversation, and I'm so excited to share it with you today. In just a moment, you're going to hear our discussion where she breaks down everything from the monthly cost of housing to the unexpected ways living in Ghana has transformed her life. Now, because this conversation was so rich with insights and practical information, we're splitting it into multiple episodes so you can really absorb everything Eshe has to share. Today is part 1, and trust me, you're going to want to catch every episode in this series. All right, here's my conversation with Eshe. Okay, Eshe, tell us some more about Ghana and moving and the U-Haul situation and all of that stuff from a financial standpoint.
Got it. Okay, so one thing to consider when you're trying to find housing in Ghana, or at least for the purposes of our conversation, I'm going to focus on Accra, which is the city center. So it's the equivalent of like being in like Manhattan or the Charlotte, Durham, Raleigh area. Most people want to be in that area because it's where everything is, it's where the action is, it's easier to get there as well for everything in Accra. The issue when it comes to housing in Accra, though, is because it's such a touristy area, people who own homes and residences there, they want to get their money up front. Mm-hmm. They don't like to do month to month. Mm-hmm. So they want you to pay for things months at a time.
So like 3 months, 6 months?
They prefer at least 6 months.
Wow.
And sometimes a year or 2 years. And the reason why is because during the month of December, that is the biggest like hospitality tourism period in Ghana, in Accra. Mm-hmm. Everybody comes there for Dirty December. It's spelled Detty, but it's Dirty December. It's like a 3-week long celebration that closes out the year and it welcomes in the new year. Mm-hmm. When people descend on Ghana during this period of time, most people who work in the hospitality and the tourism business, they will make their budget during that month. It's crazy expensive. So for instance, last year in December, I rented a 2-bedroom apartment for me and my friends. It was an Airbnb. Granted, Airbnbs are like the worst way to get something in Ghana. Mm-hmm. If you just go on the Airbnb app, they're gonna definitely charge you U.S. pricing. Mm-hmm. If you want to try and get something long term, though, you can go on the Airbnb app, notify the person who has the listing, and say, "Hey, I'm interested in long term housing. Is your place available for that?" And then they'll text you off the app via WhatsApp. and then you'll text and they'll ask you, how long do you want to stay? And if you say, let's say 3 months, they'll say, okay, well then per month it would be this amount of money, but you would need to pay for the full 3 months up front. If you pay for 6 months, they'll decrease it a little bit. If you pay for 12 months, they'll decrease it a little bit more. If you are adamant about month to month, they'll say, okay, we'll do month to month. However, you're going to be at the mercy of the exchange rate every single month. And so your rent will fluctuate every single month. And then when December rolls around, they will jack up your rent anywhere from 3 to 5. So let's say your rent's normally like $2,000 a month. You can expect to pay anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 for your rent for the month of December because of Dirty December. Because they know during Dirty December for 3 weeks, they could price that Airbnb or that house or that apartment for at least $1,000 a night.
Wow.
At least. And when you think about for us as Americans, for a 2-bedroom apartment for 3 weeks or even a week, 10 days, let's say 3 of us went and one other person, like 2 couples, right? $1,000 a night, $250 per person. That's a steal.
Right.
And so people, if you own, like that's the real business in Accra. If you can purchase an apartment in Accra, and then if you just rent that out during December, you will you'll make your money back just during December,
right?
Not even considering the other months of the year.
It's like the furniture market season here.
Yes. Yes. You can make your money just in that month alone. But the trick though is, as an American or an expat, you have to get the apartment. So my apartment search, I learned really quickly, I can't go. I don't even contact them because as soon as they hear me talk, they're going to be like, oh, you're an American, you can pay American dollars. Because they won't make the distinction between an American who makes 6 figures or an American who makes $40,000.
Right.
To us or to them, we all are rich and we all can afford $2,000 in rent a month. And we can afford, if you can afford that, then you can afford $12,000.
And you got to have the capital up front.
And you have to have it up front.
Wow.
They want their money. And because also it's such a cash-based economy, you actually don't get a break if you were to try and get a mortgage. It's actually more money as the person if you were to try and get a mortgage through a bank, especially as an American. So if you can go there with cash in hand, so most expats, if they are living their life in Ghana, more than likely they probably sold something here in America, wherever they're from, or they cashed out something, and they went over there with like $300,000 in cash. And was like, I want to buy this condo, I want to buy this land, I want to do this, I want to build, here's my money. Because they're not going to do anything unless they have the money. That's another reason why if you drive through the streets of Accra, you'll see all of this underdeveloped or undeveloped stuff because the cash ran out.
We saw that.
Wow.
They will only build what they have in hand. And so you'll see all these billboards throughout Accra. Oh, now leasing $500,000 condos and all of these things. Phase 1, phase 2. And you drive to the building, half of the building will be there.
Oh my goodness.
Because nobody, we do. Please come, talk. And you talk to them like, oh, okay, so for this amount of money, you can, I'm gonna send it to you. I had conversations with people and I was like, send me like the specs of like your building. And they would tell you, okay, if you pick this, it's $250,000. Your payments would be here. So you would owe like $20,000 now, then another $40,000, and they will build based on that money. Until they get that money, they don't build.
Oh, wow.
And so that's why you'll see a lot of these buildings that have been in the process of being built for like 5 years. They're waiting for people to come in and say, I would like to purchase this. And then they'll take that money and then they'll build. And then they keep waiting. So that's what you see all the time on Instagram. They're like, oh, you can come to Ghana. Come get an apartment. All this land's available. They need us to come so that they can build it.
Wow.
And they can finance it, but the banking rates, I understand, are much higher, like 18% interest rate.
18%?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They want cash. It is such a cash-based economy. And the jobs, the employment there is crazy. So ended up making friends with a few people who were educated in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
They do not work in healthcare over there because they
Mhm.
don't get paid.
Wow.
Not only do they not get paid like what their rate, like what they're worth, they sometimes just don't get paid. Period. Like one of the women I knew, she would have been a registered nurse over here, easy, but she was working as an assistant at a nonprofit, and she would kind of double as like the medical person on staff if there were any issues. And I was like, why aren't you working in a hospital? She was like, I used to. She was like, but they only will pay you if they have the money to pay you, and that depends on if people come to the hospital. But most people in Ghana can't afford. It's like there's no like
So
centralized
there's no medical
healthcare.
insurance, healthcare
Right.
stuff. Mhm.
So most people, unless you, I mean, the people who have healthcare like that, like you would have to work for something like a bank.
Mhm.
Like most people,
Or a U.S. based company.
yeah, or U.S. And if you work for a U.S. based company, if you're an American, you have your healthcare. When I did it, I worked at my healthcare was based in the United States.
Right.
When I got there, we were in the process of trying to figure out how can we provide healthcare to the team, because the way we were doing it was everybody would throw in money from their paycheck every pay period, like a community healthcare fund. And everybody would have like a certain amount of money that they had access to.
They use the SUSU system for healthcare.
What's a SUSU system? What is that?
It's a way of sort of a community savings program,
like a pool.
Yeah.
Like a savings pool for healthcare.
Mhm.
And so I was like, this is ridiculous. We got to figure out something else.
Mm-hmm.
And so then there was this business called Glico, Glico over there that we were in conversations with to see how they could provide some level of health insurance. And even still, that required like massive conversations around that. So, but back to the economy there. So the way the hospital there, Accra Medical Center, worked was I had to go in there once. I had an issue, and I stayed overnight. I got an MRI, and when I checked out, my bill was like $375.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they make their money, off of expats who come in for issues, or if you're a wealthy Ghanaian and you can pay for stuff. But since that's like a very small percentage of the population.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, if you're Ghanaian, you go to the pharmacy or you go to your midwife. And so if you work for the hospital system, you're only going to get paid based on what kind of revenue you can generate from people like us who may go there. And so that's why a lot of people, the doctors, the nurses, they're not paid. And so they generally try and find jobs doing other stuff instead, because they'll make more money and it'll be at least a consistent paycheck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
It's very
okay. So let's go back to the electricity. So you pay. It's like a prepaid electricity plan.
Everything in Ghana is prepaid. Everything. Your housing, your electric, so like the app I use is called MTN.
And how did you know to get this?
You have to make friends.
Okay.
You have to make friends with people. Okay, I'll show it to you after it goes through. But anyway, it's like, think about how MTN is like a combination of your phone and Cash App or Venmo.
Okay.
So everything is connected that way. So when I decided that I wanted to live there, your first thing you need to do, you need to get a Ghana phone number. That's how you do everything there. That's the best way to be able to communicate with people. And then also you can make phone calls regularly, not just on WhatsApp. It's taking a minute to go through, but it will. And then you have to go into the app and pre-purchase airtime, which allows you to call people, and data, which allows you to send messages. And you'll know when, and you can't even just say, okay, I'll purchase, I'll say for the sake of argument, 100 CDs worth, which is like $10 US.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sound like a lot, $10 US, right? 100 CDs, I can make phone calls and send text messages probably for like a month or two.
Wow.
Easy.
For $10.
For $10 US. Now, that's one of the things that's inexpensive compared to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to pay for those kinds of things. But you just don't know. It just kind of depends on, how you use it. And so you'll get a notification, or let's say, for instance, this is how I found out the first time that my time had run out. I was on a phone call with somebody, and then all of a sudden, I heard this Ghanaian voice say, "You have 3 minutes remaining. Please, please add to your account."
Can you add while you're in the conversation?
No,
you have to hang up with the
You
person.
either have to hang, because you have various ways you can add. You can either text these numbers it's like how you would text. Like, I use Verizon, so I think like Verizon has like *176 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's the same thing. You have like start texting. You can do it that way, or you can call,
Uh-huh.
or you can go into the app. So it kind of all depends on your phone, like what you're doing on your phone call, which way you want to do it. And if you don't do it, your call will end. You're like, "Oh, I got time." No, you don't. When she said you have 3 minutes, you have 3. It's like a call from like a jail. They're like, "Oh," and it will just disconnect you, and you will not be able to call anybody. Your text messages will not go through. There is no.
So you have to do that. You have to do all that within the 3 minutes you have left. You have to prepay again before your 3 minutes are up.
Exactly. Otherwise, your service is gone, and it's very. You can't really talk to someone unless you go into an MTN store. So this could happen at 10 o'clock at night. And so if it's 10 o'clock at night, you better go in there or wait till tomorrow morning and then, go into a store. But if you don't have service, it's hard to request a car on Uber. So there is Uber over there as well. Okay. But all of that is how you communicate. Your MTN app, your MTN service. And so it's not expensive by U.S. standards, but you are at the mercy of your access, your ability to prepay, and of course, is the service up? And it is, and you can go anywhere, and they're like, "Oh, the service is down. The network is down," is what they say. The network is down, and you just have to wait until the network is back up. So a good rule of thumb in Ghana: always have cash on you. Like, do not leave the house if you don't have enough cash to at least get yourself back home.
Wow.
Because the network could be down easy, and it would be very, very difficult unless you know how to get a taxi, which is good to learn how to do. You should learn how to get a taxi without using your phone if you're in Ghana, and know how much it costs to get where you need to go. You should definitely find a friend or make a friend that is familiar with Ghana, or an expat who has been in Ghana and has kind of learned how things operate.
Now, what is an expat?
Oh, so basically, like, anybody that is not from that country that now is living there. So it's short for expatriate. Okay. So that's how they classify anybody that is not from Ghana. Okay. They consider us expats because we've been living there. Not necessarily if you and Tracy come, y'all just guests, you're traveling, visitors and stuff. But for folks like me, until we're not visitors, but we're not Ghanaian residents yet. So on my Ghanaian visa, it says non-Ghanaian resident. Which is also an expat, because I'm in the process of becoming a resident there. And so until I am a Ghanaian resident, I am considered an expat.
It's like Vicky is in the Philippines.
Okay.
She's a U.S. citizen, but she's overworking.
And when you go, should you take U.S. dollars or should you exchange? Should you take their currency? So
I prefer to not take U.S. dollars over there at all. Mm-hmm. The way I do my money when I get over there is I either will go to a bank and I will take out of the ATM because the fees aren't very expensive. Mm-hmm. Or I will go to a friend and I'll say, if you want to take cash, you go to a friend, you have a friend there, or to an exchange bureau, a Forex bureau, and you can go there with your American dollars and you can get Ghanaian CDs. Those are your two best options, either an ATM or a Forex bureau if you do have cash. Check your own bank. Find out what their withdrawal fees are in a different country. And if they're not terrible, you can take your card with you and you can go to, I prefer Echo Bank when I'm in Ghana, or there's one other one that has, I'll remember the name, it'll come to me, because they accept MasterCard and Visa. Your Amex in Ghana is almost worthless unless you go, like, it's good to book like your travel. And maybe if you stay in a fancy place like Kempinski or Movenpick, but even there, my Amex did not work once I got it. It was good for the reservation, but within like the hotel, because the fees are so astronomical for a place like that. MasterCard, they've started to not accept that in some places. Visa is still pretty much widely accepted, but it's because it's so expensive for them to use,
Right.
credit card fees. So they prefer cash if you're not using the MTN app. So the MTN app, like I said, it serves as your Cash App / Venmo, and it's how you access your data and your airtime.
And it automatically does the exchange for you.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Eshe, for sharing such incredible insights and real numbers with us. This has been truly eye-opening. Now, we've only scratched the surface of what it takes to live in Ghana. In part 2, Eshe is going to dive even deeper into employment opportunities in Ghana and starting a business in Ghana, including Life with Rashida. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. If today's episode sparked your curiosity about living in Ghana or joining Eshe's Life with Rashida experience, you can follow Life with Rashida on social media, and the information is in the description. Until next time, keep questioning your assumptions about money, location, and what financial freedom really means. I'll see you in part 2. Thanks.